Welcome to Elevate, the masterclass where we dissect the elements of exceptional achievement and lifestyle design with a focus on personal growth and real estate investing. Now, here's your host, Tyler Chesser.
Elevate Nation, welcome back. This is Tyler Chesser. I'm so thankful to have you here. And I just wanted to take a little break with you for a second and record a special edition of the podcast. A little personal news to share with Elevate Nation. It's been quite the awesome and amazing last 3 weeks, almost a month now, I guess, since really everything changed in many ways for myself and Katie personally. It was interesting. I'll take you back to, I think it was January 11th evening. Katie and I were winding down from a hectic day, a busy day. Katie was working, and many of you may know that we have been pregnant with twins, for quite a bit now. And in fact, at that point, it was 32 weeks, and we were just relaxing. And in fact, the next day, I was scheduled to head out to Park City, Utah, with the Quantum Mastermind. Evan Holiday and myself run a mastermind, and we do 2 retreats a year, one internationally. We went to Costa Rica last year and one domestically. And we had a trip that we had scheduled with our mastermind group, which, by the way, turned out to be amazing. I did not actually get to go, and I'll tell you a little bit about why that's the case here shortly. But I was set to leave to go to Park City that next day. That was Wednesday, the 12th of January. And, I was also from there. Here's what was going to happen. I was going to go to Park City, was going to fly there. We're going to do our thing. We're going to have an awesome retreat, do some skiing and masterminding, expanding, that kind of stuff, and have an amazing trip. From there, I was going to fly from Salt Lake City to Orlando, Florida for the NMHC annual conference, National Multifamily Housing Conference, which is one of the biggest conferences in our industry annually. I was going to fly there to be in Orlando with Brian Flaherty and CF Capital team, and meet with every broker, lender, partner you can imagine from across the country. And so that was a big deal on the calendar as well. So I had a pretty busy week for 7 days after January 11th. As we were sitting there, we're actually watching the Kentucky basketball game, just having a nice little evening. Of course, Katie was not too terribly happy that I was going to be leaving that next day. She was, feeling a little anxious about that. And of course I was as well, but we were confident that we were heading towards 2/2/22. Actually, I'm sorry, 2/22/22, which was our due date for these beautiful babies. And that evening, Katie's water all of a sudden breaks. And it was quite the surprise at 32 weeks on the dot. We're like, what is this? We're not even thinking that was even a possibility. So we're sitting there, all of a sudden her water breaks. This is just unbelievable. And so, of course, we're scrambling, we're getting stuff together, and, we've been planning for quite a while to have our ducks in a row for all of these different circumstances, whether it's, getting the nursery ready. We've actually been finishing our basement for a while. We finally did finish that. But getting all the things that you need for twins, whether it's stocking up on diapers or stocking the freezer with, food and things to be prepared for the madness that comes with being parents of twins, and, all the things. I mean, doing the baby shower and all those kind of stuff. But one of the things that was still on our list, and we had basically whittled it down to, just a few remaining things before their arrival, was to pack our hospital bags. Of course, we have our list of things that we needed to go in the hospital bags. But at this point, we were scrambling to make that happen because, in our mind, hey, the water breaks and babies are coming now. And so that was quite the ordeal, quite the experience. Of course, we rushed to the hospital. We get to the hospital and, we're getting checked in to labor and delivery. It turns out they were giving us a little bit of a hint, and I don't think they were directly giving us this hint, that it was possible that she did not deliver that evening. And so that was kind of intriguing. In fact, one of the nurses said, hey, we might have to check you in this way, every few days over the next couple weeks, the next few weeks. And we're thinking, well, wait a minute. I didn't even know that you could possibly, have your water break and not give birth immediately or soon thereafter. So that was quite the enlightening experience in itself. And of course, I'm canceling flights, I'm canceling trips, I'm communicating to partners and folks that I unfortunately will not be able to attend, but obviously for the right reason there. And I was exactly where I needed to be. So thankful that it happened at that point in time before I flew out to Utah or was flying from Utah to Florida and back and all these things. So obviously time has an interesting way of keeping us where we need to be. And that was certainly the circumstance there for me. So as we get checked into the hospital, we learned that, her water did break. In fact, baby girl's water broke. Well, I'll tell you a little bit more about our twins here shortly, because ultimately they did come, but it was a little bit of time. In fact, we got checked into the hospital, and Katie was instructed to be on bed rest. And it was so interesting because her pregnancy was just so good throughout the entire time. And, she was really active. In fact, she had worked up until that day, and she was, on her feet and still working out and doing so much. I mean, we were very thankful to have an awesome pregnancy, and it was just such a surprise that her water broke. And what we learned from some of the nurses, and there was a little bit of evaluation kind of throughout the time frame. Nurses and doctors basically shared with us that it seemed that the pressure of baby boy, which was baby B, who was a little bit higher up in Katie's stomach, maybe had kind of put some pressure on the placenta of baby A. And baby A is our little girl, and that caused her placenta to rupture. So interesting that then caused Katie to be ordered to be on bed rest so that we could keep those babies in there as long as possible, because it's better for them to be in mom than out of mom at that gestational age. And so it was, quite an interesting experience to have mom go from, super active. When I say mom, I mean Katie, obviously being super active and on her feet and, very productive, to really not being able to do anything. And of course, that's exactly where she needed to be at that time. Long story short, we were in the hospital. She was in the hospital overnight, for a week, and until the day of birth came. And of course, I spent a couple nights in the hospital with her throughout that week and was back and forth and handling still business and staying productive and doing things that need to be done during that course of our life. But 1 week later, we get to 33 weeks, and that was a great accomplishment. Of course, we still have in our mind, hey, 22 is a possibility. That would have been 35 weeks in a day or so. And, we continue to have our mind on that. However, nature, God, had a different thought process. Those babies had a different thought process. And on January 18th at 6:17 and 6:18 p.m. In fact, if you want to go to military time, 8:17 and 18:17 and 18:18 on 1:18, baby Anna Kate Chesser and Ford Tyler Chesser were born. Anna Kate will go by Anna Kate, Ford will go by Ford. And we welcomed them. Mom's super healthy, baby's healthy, of course, premature. So they are early. In fact, they are still in the NICU, and they've been in the NICU now for a little over 3 weeks. And we're hoping that they'll come home soon. And, they're going through that whole process of learning how to feed, how to grow. And we're surrounded by experts, from nurses to doctors to just so many different amazing medical professionals, which we're so thankful for. And I call it training camp. The NICU, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, is the training camp for life for our twins. And we're just so thankful. We're excited, but it was quite the interesting experience. And, one of the things that I learned for sure was expect the unexpected and throw out your plan. Of course, it's great to have a plan, but just be willing to surrender to what is. You cannot resist what is. And that was a super good reminder and experience in that. And, we're just excited about parenthood. Of course, we're excited to kind of be thrust into this whole thing, but we're excited to bring them home soon and, really enjoy our new life together. But it's been quite a fun experience. It's given me, an ability to think more about, hey, well, what is the meaning of all this? What's the meaning of life? And, how can we give to someone who, really needs us, and to, a couple of people who really need us as our children and, as our infants at this stage. So excited to embark upon them, hopefully some wisdom and learning, but I know that I'm going to receive so much more, and I know that we will receive so much more learning and wisdom from their infinite intelligence that they're bringing with them. It's been fun so far. I mean, I've been sharing with them some classical music here and there, and some things that I think we've all learned that can be valuable for babies to learn and see how their neurons can fire and wire together, and, playing audio for them that is powerful, and speaking to their subconscious mind, sharing with them that you can do anything, you can accomplish anything that you want in your life. Really what we talk about on this podcast, and trying to plant the seeds of abundance and beauty and wisdom and fulfillment and joy, and giving them an empowered sense of self. So I'm excited about that. And that's been something that I've really enjoyed so far. I look forward to, really compounding on that. But the thing is, it's amazing because we've all been born for abundance. I think that's our birthright. That's a gift that's been given to us at birth. And sometimes we forget about, hey, you know what? One time we were, in our mother's womb, and at one time we couldn't really do anything for ourselves. And so I think it's called upon us to give that gift to others. As we learn something, we have to give it. As we grow, we have to contribute that to other people as well. And, I just wanted to share a little bit of personal news for you guys, and take a step back from, doing the podcast and diving into wisdom and mindset, mind expansion, personal development, to share some of the personal stuff. Because look, there's a person behind the microphone. There's a person behind what I've been doing with this podcast. And I want to know more about you. I want to know more about what's going on in your life. And ultimately, we do everything for a reason. There's a purpose behind every intention. And when you place your attention on further persistence and effort and, desire to grow, I think that's how we design a life. And so I wanted to make sure that you remain connected with the person here, who I am and what we're all about, and what's going on with me outside of doing the podcast and all the real estate investing and things that we're doing professionally and so forth, because that's what it's all for. And I'm excited to bring this to you. I'm excited to share this with you. If you enjoy this podcast, which if you're listening, I would imagine you enjoy the podcast. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being a part of Elevate Nation. Again, we're going to continue to bring amazing value, amazing guests, amazing content. And so I just want to thank you again. I want to thank you for paying attention. I want to thank you for contributing and sharing. And with all that said, I look forward to seeing how things continue to unfold, and I'll continue to share some of this, the personal news with you guys as we continue. Until next time, Elevate Nation, I really appreciate you, and I will see you soon. Thanks again for listening. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to Elevate. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to elevate your results by taking immediate action on what you learned. For more, visit elevatepod.com.